Hello and welcome back to my channel. It is time to pick my April TBR. I have to admit I'm very glad to be moving on from March. I did mostly BookTube Prize reading in March and I just didn't get on with it. And it wasn't like the books were bad or anything. I just got really frustrated with not being able to read the books that I wanted to read. So I have to have a think about what I'm going to do about the BookTube Prize moving forward. But that's not really the point of this video. Today I'm going to see which books I will read in April. If you are new to this channel, every month I pick a TBR with my TBR game. I use the Witches Literary Oracle cards for this. And I'll get into the game in a minute, but first I wanted to go through my prompts and books for March and see how I did in March. Spoilers, it didn't go particularly well. So the first prompt for March was to reread a classic, and I wanted to reread the Their Eyes Were Watching God for this one, and I did not read that. The second prompt was the Sappho card. And for that I read The Confessions of Fanny Langton. Actually I haven't finished it yet, but I am more than halfway through, so I'll count it. Then I got the Cat card and I picked The Vast and Wilds by Lauren Groff for that, and I didn't read that one. Next was the Moon card, and for that I read I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay, which was one of the BookTube Prize books. Then the next prompt was to read a book marked as adventurous on the story graph. My options were Black Sun by Rebecca Rowanhorse and The Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb, and I didn't read either of those. Then I also had to read a non-fiction book, and for that I read Growing Up Aboriginal in Australia, which is a anthology, so loads of different authors. And then last I picked the Toni Morrison card, for which I wanted to read Sula by Toni Morrison, but I didn't manage to read that one either. And then the last role was a book buying prompt, which was to buy a book in translation. And if you've watched my last video, you can see I have definitely managed that. Which means I read only 3 out of the 7 books I picked last month. And I don't mind so much reading outside of my TBR. If the other books I read were all books I was super excited about, but they were all BookTube Prize books and I wasn't excited. Well, let's just move swiftly on. So for April I don't have a lot of reading plans. I'm not joining in with the BookTube Prize obviously, or any other big readathons or events that are going on this month. I just really wanted to keep it low-key this month and just read books from my own shelves. I do have 2 books I plan to read in April. The first one is The Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler, which I think will be the book for the Classics book club. The poll is actually still up on the Discord for the group, but it looks like this one is going to be the one that's most popular. So I already picked it up from the library. And I will also be reading Waar ik liever niet aan denk, or What I'd Rather Not Think About by Jente Postuma. Me and 2 other friends I know from Bookstagram, we have a very casual book club together, where once in a while we decide to read a book together and then we'll discuss it over lunch or coffee and cake. So in April we decided to read this book. So these 2 are the only books that I will definitely read in April. And other than that, I'm just excited to see what the game has in store for me. So yeah, let's just get into it. Right. Oh, I forgot to see where I ended up last time. Somewhere over here. And I think it was on a book buying prompt. I'm sure it was on a book buying prompt. So I guess I finished there. We're just gonna go for it. Yeah. Okay, the first roll. is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is a book buying, a regular prompt. And that is a book by a deceased author. Roll number 2 is 1 of the cards, and that is Sandra Cisneros. Roll number 3 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Another card. Oh, Octavia E. Butler. I could not make this up. Roll number 4 is 2. 1, 2. Another one of the cards, and that is an apple. Roll number 5 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another card, and that is a glove. Roll number 6 is 2. 1, 2. One of the prompts again, and that says buzzwords location. Roll number 7 is 3. 1, 2, 3. So that moves me exactly to the end, which means a special treat, and I'll tell you what I think about this for this time. And let's go back to the beginning now and do the final roll, and that is 1, and that's another card, and that says a ghost. Right, so I just finished the rolls and I just remembered I was supposed to move spaces backwards for all the books I didn't finish in March. Obviously I didn't do that. Oh well. Let's see what we got for April. The first prompt was to read a book by a deceased author, and I think for this one I will read one of the books I recently hold, and that is De Thuiswacht by Dola de Jong. She was born in 1911 and she died in 2003. She is a Dutch Jewish author who immigrated to the States just before the Second World War, and this is a lesbian fiction book set in Amsterdam in the 1930s. It has also been translated into English, and I will put a picture on the screen of the English cover. Next I got the Sandra Cisneros card, which is this one, and the booklet on that says Sandra Cisneros, joys of the body, sorrows of the body and the senses. Born in a working-class Chicago neighborhood to a Mexican father and Mexican-American mother, Sandra Cisneros, born in 1954, navigates the richness and misogyny of both Mexican and American cultures. She vowed to never marry and to always have a house of her own. Her most famous book, The House on Mango Street, a coming-of-age novel of saturated sensory vignettes, is taught in elementary schools and colleges alike. Make sure to check out her poetry, which asserts a healthy sexuality, and her masterful short stories too. And I think I will read Breath, Ice, Memory by Edwidge Danticat for that prompt, just because I think the title reminds me of the senses and the body, and also because, like Sandra Cisneros, Edwidge Danticat is also the daughter of immigrant parents, or maybe she's a immigrant herself. So I think growing up in two different cultures is a theme that both of these authors explore in their work. So yeah, that's what I will be reading for the Sandra Cisneros card. Then I got the Octavia E. Butler card, Of course, I will be reading The Parable of the Sower for that one. I have no idea what this book is about, but I have read and loved Kindred by this author, and I'm definitely in the mood for some speculative fiction. So yeah, I'm glad that came up in the cards as well. Next was the Apple card, and the words for the card are the senses, hunger and sex. And I picked the Book of Difficult Fruit for this one by Kate Lebo. Now apples are probably the most undifficult fruit of fruits, but it is fruit nonetheless. This is an essay collection where the author talks about 26 different kinds of fruit, one for every letter of the alphabet, and she talks about them in a historical context, a social context, a personal context, and I think fruit in general definitely has an association with sex and the sensual. So yeah, that's what I'll read for that card. Then we've got the card with a glove on it, and the words for that card are money, status and complacency. And I immediately thought of The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. This is a book about the social elite of New York, so I think it'll be all about money and status and opulence. This is a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time. It's on my 40 before 40 list, so I'm really glad to be getting to this one. And I think I'll probably do like a audio print read along for this book. The next prompt was buzzwords location. I obviously got this idea from Books and Lala, who's been doing the buzzword readathon for a couple of years now. So for this I will read a book which has a word that is a location in the title. So it could be the name of a country or a city, or something like a mountain or a lake or a castle, a house, etc. And I picked Pilgrim at Tinker Creek for this one. Tinker Creek being a location, I guess. I wasn't able to get a hold of the Book Naturalist book club pick for this month, but I did want to add some nature writing to the mix. Again, this is a book that is on my 40 before 40 list, and I think it would be great to read like an essay a day for this one. You know, maybe first thing in the morning or before I go to bed. So yeah, that is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek by Annie Dillard. Then the 7th roll got me right to the finish, and my reward for getting to the end used to be a trip to the charity bookshop, but I changed it to having a cozy reading night, or maybe a whole reading day where I block off my calendar to just have a whole day of reading. No phones, just books and snacks. Maybe go for a walk or something, but mostly reading. So I will plan just that. I think I might do it at the end of April, just because I have an important exam coming up towards the end of the month, and it'll be nice to have something to look forward after that, and then I won't have that I'm reading but really I should be studying guilt. So yeah, that's something to look forward to towards the end of the month. And then we got one last card, and that was the ghost. I'm not really in the mood to read a ghost story right now. I'm not even sure I have a ghost story, but the words for this card are memories, what haunts you, and unfinished business. And I think the title of this book fits perfectly. That is What I'd Rather Not Think About by Jente Postema. Like I said, this is a buddy read I'm doing this month, so it works out really well. The English translation just got shortlisted for the International Booker Prize, so it's about time I read the original Dutch. So these are the books on my April 2024 TBR, and then the TBR spin book will be added to this as well. Yeah, this is good. I like it. I've had some difficulty getting into my reading groove this year, but I have a feeling that April will be the month where I will get out of that rut. Now all I have to do is to pick a card for you guys. So here's the stack, and the card for April will be Agatha Christie, which means I will get at least 1 point from Melinda, because I think she reads an Agatha Christie every month. So yeah, here's the card. Just you can have a look. That's Agatha there. She's having some tea. There's a knife and a noose and a candlestick. There's a clock with only 10 hours on them. And then the booklet says on Agatha Christie, Agatha Christie, Suspension, Deception and the Missing Piece. Agatha Christie, born 1819 and died in 1976, wrote nearly 70 detective novels, making her the most popular novelist in all of history. Taking place in a British aristocratic world filled with luxury trains, handsome estates and butlers, her books keep the reader guessing about the truth behind their murders until the shocking twists are revealed. So yeah, loads to go off on. I'm sure you can find something to read for that, and let me know if you've read anything for the prompt, so I can mention it in the next video. Right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. It's been really great having you here. If you have any thoughts about any of the books I talked about today, please leave a comment down below. I always love having a chat with you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.